Hello, anyone there? First stream on Twitch. How does everything look? And sound? I was gonna let people know. All right. Thanks, man. It's a couple of my production tracks for like TV shows and shit. Yeah. The plan today is, well, first of all, this is my first ever Twitch stream, so bear with me if there is stuff happening. Should be good. Yes, that's not Ableton. I am a Cubase user, and this stream basically is gonna be me in the studio showing you guys stuff, do tracks from scratch, Q&As, AMAs. If you want to know some tricks, ask me, or if you have specific questions about a sound or a certain production technique or anything of that nature, do message me and let me know. It is black magic, in fact. Like there's just like one button, you press it and just boom, there's the song. Sound here. Just a beat I was just messing with earlier. So my voice is like good volume compared to the music. Is that all good? Or? All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking at the screen, familiarizing myself with what's going on, where the questions pop up, where do I see everything, all that kind of stuff. It's all coming from the computer. Strangely enough, I used to be like, a hardware guy where, tons of synthesizers and output gear connected through MIDI, and then recorded on the fly through a mixer into like a DAT machine or a mini disc back in the day. Obviously, times have changed, so I'm pretty much like 99% in the box, as it's called, in the box as in on a computer. In my case, a PC and Windows 10, believe it or not, it actually generally works pretty good. As with any computers, there are always glitches, and so autosave, good thing. Yeah. And just checking out. All right. Well, how about I'll just start jamming on this beat, which is all MIDI, different drum sounds. And I'll play you before and after just to see quickly, how you can beef up what technically initially sounds like not a good drum sound, but through today's technology, amazing what you can do. So here's a little bit of before and after, and I'll show you each plugin and what they do in the sound. I'll show you the kit. I just loaded it up in battery. It's from Looploft. Some acoustic drum sound. This specific key is a Ludwig drum kit, which is often commonly known as one of the drum sets used by John Bonham, Mr. Led Zeppelin drummer. Anyway, so these are the raw samples that I imported into battery. Like nothing fancy, but so I created this beat in MIDI, and this is what it sounds like without any plugins or any processing whatsoever. And now I'm going to put on the balls. first one is a killer compressor from SSL, the X Valve Comp. You can actually get a whole bundle of SSL plugins for like, what is it, 10, 12 bucks a month through Gobbler. Totally recommend it. So this is just some compression with a valve, so it gives you a little bit of that grit in it. And the second thing happening is another SSL, the drum strip, which is really cool because it has a transient shaper. It has a listen mic compressor. For those who don't know what that is, it's one of those legendary accidents in the 80s. I believe it was during Phil Collins or Genesis recording, where the sound engineer sitting on the mixer desk accidentally forgot to turn off the listen talkback microphone. That is the microphone going into the sound booth, like the vocal booth or whatever. And they accidentally recorded some drums through that compression. And they're like, holy shit, what is this? And thus that became a thing now. Those big, massive sounding drums. So they included that in this plugin, which is pretty freaking amazing. Then you got, you know, your some low-end, high-end enhancement. The gate in this is amazing. The next thing is, of course, shout out to Steven Slate. This is probably the coolest bundle you could get. It's like 15 bucks a month, and you get totally, completely awesome high-end studio gear, and it sounds amazing. Running a little bit of EQ. My favorite, the London Virtual Tube Collection, gives you that grit and balls, and of course, the FG Stress, which is sort of an emulation of the Imperial Labs Distressor compressor, which is pretty much in every studio ever, anywhere. So there's that, and more SSL, a little bit of EQ, notching out some of that frequency. I don't know. I have a thing for this area where it's like, if it gets too much, it just really sucks. It's like a knife coming out of your mix. And of course, the classic bus compressor. So I'll play it without and then start enabling all of them so you can see what's going on. See, what you can hear now is that listen mic compressor on full, and what is usually a good tip is to render that out or send it to a buzz, and you do what's called parallel compression, and you get that, you know, that vibe. All right, checking some questions. All right. So, good gamer guy. I see this on the bottom right. I see the chat window, I guess. Is that basically just a copy of what I see on the Twitch website to the right? Or is that a different chat? Or educate me. So tell me, what do you want to see? I'll make it happen somehow. Everything running smooth, no drop frames, right on. Been live for 13 minutes. 14. Vampire. Goddamn vampires. Blood-sucking evildoers. Vampires with sparkles, or like a pretty boy high school vampire, or a legitimate vampire. Alright. My vampire-like sound. Perfect. Well, might have to dig into my favorite thing, the meteor from UVI. Hang on, a mellow meteor. Hey, work. There we go. Start with a blank. Keep it on. 1931, good year to be a vampire. Okay. So how am watching now? 5 people. How about you, whoever's watching, introduce yourself in a chat. Say hi. Let me know what you think. How's the sound? Anything you want to see, let me know. See, I can pull up something I've been working on. Not really. Yeah. Hey, Rumble. Rum 8. Well, Rumble. What's up? Who else is on here? Let's hear your voice. I mean, let's hear you. Let's hear what you want to see. Oh, just make a sound. Just I'll just jam on the serum for a couple minutes. See if we get some more action in the chat window. By all means, ask me any question relating to this or whatever else you want. For those who have serum, it's not a secret or super unknown, but the noise oscillator is oscillator is quite I feel underrated. Like there's so much you can do with just a noise oscillator, especially dragging your own files into it. But I find it really useful to create ambience or textures pretty quickly. So I'll demonstrate that. Checking. Man, I gotta get some more screens. Fan of IC, Summer Girl, Commando. All right. Good to see you there, man. Well, glad you liked my style. Always appreciated when music that I make is appreciated and enjoyed. Um, so you've been around for a while, hey? In terms of what I do. You got Serum too? Yeah, I'm noticing it's useful to have like a dedicated screen just for that part of it. So I'm like looking like I'm going like this. How about I just make a EDM track just on the fly, or like say like a 2-bar loop or something. Um, yeah, let's do that quickly. Shut this down. Load her up. Yeah. Put it in there. Say 223. The magical BPM 128. All right. What are bits? Thug crowd. What's up? All right. So first, in this case, I'll just load up some audio tracks. I'll load up Serum because Serum is the guy. I'll lock that down. All right. So let's find some drum sounds. I'll quickly browse through all kinds of stuff. All right. I might have to go up here actually. Yeah. Let's just use that quickly. All right. 4 on the floor. Don't mind if I do. Always name your tracks. It gets crazy after a while. All right. So get some drum sounds here somewhere. Seem to like the snare I made up, so I've been using that for a while. Alright, I'm gonna mute myself for a sec. Whoops. These. Checking for questions again. Alright, yeah, so I'm just loading up some drum sounds that I just know they work, just for the sake of this stream. Yeah, just gonna load up a hi-hat sound here and a couple of other things. 1 second. Yo, what's up? Man, clicking back and forth between windows. Do you use a physical synth? I have an old DX7. Nice. Use a DX7 to make beats? Wow, cool. Yeah, I mean, hardware is awesome. Like, I've got some units over here, like mostly a couple of drum machines and reverb units from the 80s, because they have that certain feel to it that I feel some plugins are not able to replicate. And besides, it's fun to just plug it in and, jam and improvise and just see where it goes, right? Um, what else? I mean, the downside, I feel like that's why I sort of shifted towards software. Besides the fact that software have gotten so good now, like the quality is, it's not even a debate anymore, if you ask me. Is the instant recallability. You can save every setting, open up your session, and it's just the way it was. Versus plugging everything in, getting that your preset. It's just too much. No, got got no time for that. Got to make some tunes. Yeah, like I just recently got a multi effects unit from Yamaha, the SPX 50D. Got it for like $60 or something, and it's the same unit that Trent Reznor used on Pretty Hate Machine for the guitars and stuff, which is kind of why I thought, oh, I should buy it and check it out. It's pretty cool. Like, I don't have a plugin that sounds like that, right? It's like, sounds like shit in a good way. Anyway, I'm gonna drop some bass in here, so hang on. Anyone online, just ask me questions. Say hi. Don't be shy. Trust me, I'm a shy guy too. So just go for it. Ask around. Click like. Please follow. Share the stream if you don't mind. Much appreciated. All right, hang on. I'm just gonna get a bassline going here. Here's a little tip. You want to check the fundamental key of your kick. So, like when you're starting a song, just to make sure your bass line or melodic content doesn't interfere with the kick frequency. Depends whether or not you put the kick in first or you make the riff first. If you write the riff first and make sure the kick you choose will sort of sit well with that bass, and if you have the kick first, which is usually what I do, I just get a kick that I like, I tweak it to a certain vibe or style that I'm working on, and go from there. But in this case, I'll just check what key sort of the kick is in. Safe to say, like around D is a good frequent key to use for this specific purpose. So a bit of shuffle in there, or swing as you call it. In Cubase, I have the swing on 40% right now, which is why you get that group feel. All right, I'm gonna drop in a bass line. Being lazy right now, I'm just trying to get a quick riff going that kind of gets the point across. Now, just put in the sidechain thing because that's just the way we roll. Checking in here again. Good old days of rave parties and flyers, yeah, man. What happened to that? Yeah. Let's see what else we can do here quickly. Here's a trick to make that a bit more animated. So I'll set a LFO to rock the drive down sample thing so it moves around a bit. Let's see, this is a 1 bar loop, so I'll do that. And then So, do something like this. See how that sounds. I've been streaming 35 minutes. All right. Any growl? Yeah. Oops. Man, sorry about this microphone thing. The irony of the century here is, turns out I don't have. I'll show you. Got these headphones, but for some reason it might have something to do with the fact I have a 4-year-old kid in here. Sometimes I'm missing the adapter, so I can't actually plug it into my freaking sound card. So every time I talk, I have to turn the microphone in Streamlabs on and off manually, just to get through the stream. I will obviously go get the adapter. It's kind of silly, but just the way it is. But at least stuff is working. If anyone can tell me if the sound quality is, it like smooth, is it glitchy, anything that shouldn't be happening, please do let me know. How is your weekend going so far? So, mentors, is that what you call yourself? So what's your favorite synthesizer, like hardware, or any software, hardware, doesn't matter. Silky smooth, we like that. For our first stream, well, I did some decent amount of research and double, triple checking, with much help from Good Games guys, so cheers for that. Yeah, I just hope I don't get any weird blue screens or suddenly my computer goes, fuck you. But so far so good. So Jack and Thug Crowd. Okay, I'll show you another not so secret trick to get energy in like a track like this. Just load up Serum again, because Serum is cool. Let's see, get some noise. That's not noise. There we go. Analog. We'll now just make a white noise thing, like a, not even a groove, it's basically sidechaining, like the bassline. And it's commonly used in like payoffs, or like the drop helps the energy level. So like right now it's just a long white noise, but I'll do the sidechain trick to it. That's not cool, Seb. I know. Hang on. Sorry, I'm used to working on 2 screens, so I'm just getting used to this. Alright, so now we got this. Yo, trying to think of something else to do, like on the spot here. Let's see here. It's not the most interesting. How about I just open up a project of something that I've recently done, then there's like, lots more stuff going on in there. And this guy goes bye-bye. Alright. 1 second. We'll find something cool. Something that's released. One second. I'm just looking at some files. Something that is recent. Bam. All right. All right. I will just go with this one. All right, loading up a recent remix I did. I can show you more of what's going on in there. Oop, did it freeze or? Didn't freeze on me, did it? No, says we're live. All right. Just Twitch being twitchy. All right, loading, still loading. Any questions? What do you want to see? What do you want to hear while I'm loading up a session? All right. I guess it was just the actual website that just kind of got wonky on me there. And of course, Cubase wants to take a sweet time to load this project up. And I guess this will be the good test because this project has a lot of stuff going on in it. All right. So now I will just play this track, like a few snippets of it, and then I'll go through the whole session. You can see what is what, what's going on. So bear with me. Now we will see how this computer handles it. It's a pretty heavy project, so fingers crossed. Do I upload to Shadowville Beats? I, to be honest, have no idea what that is. If you got a link or you can tell me what that is, I'll definitely check it out. All right, back.
Hey you
right, I'll just go through parts of the remix. This is actually for a band from Sweden called Cryo, and the song is called Sanitarium. It's coming out soon, so make sure you check that out. I'll type in the name so you guys can see. Cryo is the band. Sanitarium is the song. Yeah, the color coding, it's basically a lifesaver, especially when you have, a bunch of tracks. It also makes it, like, in Cubase, at least you have these folders, right? So if it's like a massive amount of tracks, you can just put it in a folder, color code it. For some reason, I always put my drums red, synths orange, vocals pink, because why not? And also, it helps in the mixer. Bring the mixer window, and you can, easier to see where things are. Say, oh, I'm going to put my drums in a buzz. Okay, just choose all the red ones, and off you go. Just easier on the eye, quicker to locate what you're looking for, basically. Is my microphone on? All right. Anyway, so I'm going through the drums first. So I'll play all the drum parts. Let's just find a loop where everything is happening. About here. Play the drums as a group and then individually, and same with the synths. And I'll just let you hear what's going on. Tractor. No, I used to use Tractor when I was DJing. Actually, I used Tractor when I was doing live shows too. Sort of like breaking the boundaries of live show a DJ. Just make a set that flows kind of like a DJ would do. And it's cool because Tractor allows you to like loop parts. Like say you're paying attention to the crowds and you see they're responding well to a certain part, just loop that and just build on it. And so Tractor is really cool for that. Next time I do like live shows, I'll probably go with Ableton. I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. Gonna write an album first. Yeah. Hang on. I'm gonna play the drums now. So those are the drums. Check out what's going on in here. So this is the main riff in there. That's like with and without sidechaining. Makes more sense when I engage the kick drum, so hang on. I have this other, I call it 1992 bass. It's a direct reference to the band from 242, 1992 being a good year for that kind of music. Let's play that. just gonna show you here. It's actually not that much going on in this remix. Hang on, I'll find another one. So what are you guys up to today besides watching this right now? All right. There we go. Okay. Crap. Yeah, that's my discography, although a very, very slim version of it. Hang on, I'll find you one more that's updated. I think there's another page that has more of a... Yeah, there we go. The Wikipedia page, whoever is doing that. Hang on, stuff going on. Crap. Where is the page I'm looking for? There we go. The page, the wiki page is fairly accurate and somewhat pretty updated. So yeah, go to that page if you want to know more about what I do, where I come from, and how long I've been doing it, and all that stuff. Now, I of course loaded the wrong version. Hang on. Multitask, multipass. Not the... There we go. All right. Sometimes Keybase takes a while to load stuff. Hopefully they'll fix that in update. Okay, where are you guys? Twitch. There we go. Chilling after a long day. Life catches up on soccer. Right on. What's her favorite team? Telling you, Viking coin. Oh wait, you told me that's the thing. I guess I should load up a drop your weapon track. Hey, I shall find it while this other one is loading. Folders. All right. Is it still loading here? Yeah. All right, so here's another remix. I'll just quickly play it, and then I'll load up a track from one of my new albums, Drop Your Weapon. Hang on, I'll find it on Bandcamp. There we go. So this is one of my recent albums. I'll post a link. There we go. I'll open a session from one of those tracks after this one, since I already loaded it. So I'll just play this. We'll do the same thing. I'll show you what's going on in the remix. And this is a band called Electro Nobody from Russia. So Vladimir, if you're online, what's up? All right, I'll load up a drop your weapon track here. Hopefully the plugins are still accessible. Should be the last one. Dark and grimy, yeah. It's the way to go. It's kind of what I like doing, especially like mixing the dirty and filthy with the pretty, clean, and beautiful. And you know, I don't know. I like contrast, whether it's art, uh, painting, pictures, you name it, or music. It's like you have something that's like crazy, dark, and nightmarish, but also something that's pretty and clean on top. It's a good combo. Cubase is loading mix console, so hang on. And as you can see here, there's a lot of versions before things are done. It's kind of crazy, actually. Yeah. Missing samples. Okay. Point to folder. Let's do that. There we go. Found it. All right. Some sounds came going. Is that another follower or 9 people watching? 50 views. Is that cool? Don't know. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. There we go. So this is one of those drop your weapon songs. I'll play it from the. I play the original quickly so you can hear. Got a question here. How long does it take to tweak a track? That is like the answer with the question with no answers. It's so project dependent. Like some songs come together quickly. Others are like your worst nightmare. It's like the song doesn't want to be finished. You start questioning yourself. You start questioning life itself. Like it's yeah. I find, or I'm still learning, that the worst thing you can do is overthink things when you're writing a song. Of course, it depends on your approach. Like how do you write songs? You know, do you sit on an acoustic guitar getting the chords and lyrics down, or more like me, or just open Cubase or whatever DAW you use and just start jamming? So it depends a lot on what your approach to songwriting is. But let's just say, for the sake of this, that you are in a program like Cubase and you got your files and to tweak a track. Yeah. It's so hard to say because I like to not spend too much time on a track because I feel, or I've found, that the more you noodle around, the more you mess around, you kind of reach a point of no return where you start actually making it worse. I found out by backtracking some versions sometimes. I'm like, wow, this was fine just the way it was. Why did I spend another day ruining it, right? But I guess that's the nature of what we do. Like, you always try to make it better, but you have to like always keep yourself in check. Like, enough is enough. It's done. You know what I mean? When I say it's done, there's usually 1 or 2 reasons. A, it has to be done, whether you like it or not. It's got to be sent out. Somebody needs it. Somebody's waiting for it. you know, at the end of the day, you gotta, you know, it's in a sense a service business too, right? Besides art, especially if you work for clients or a label or publisher, you name it. Hey, like you get an email, hey, can you create a track that sounds like this, or can you do this? And you have 2 days, and if you don't fulfill that within 2 days, well, guess what? That's it for you, at least for that project. Of course, if you have the luxury of time, like say making music is like your side gig, you just do it for fun, then you know spend as much time as you want. But if you're like serious about this business, you gotta hustle, man. You gotta, you know, it's like almost like a systematic approach. I find works best. In terms of tweaking, I find well, with this kind of music, as everybody says, get your kick drum and your bass to become friendly, which is essential in like when your song is played in a club or you play live or well any place. Because if your kick drum and your bass sound is not, you know, like this, you're going to run into problems. That's when you start messing around with everything else. Like you're trying to figure out what the problem is. Like you can feel it doesn't sound right, and you're just messing around with all. Then you start destroying other sounds instead of focusing on what the issue is. And more often than not, your drums. Like I put a lot of effort and priority on getting the drums right. Because you know, if you don't have a good beat, like nobody cares that you just invented 20 new chords. Like the feel of the song is not there. It's tweak. How do you tweak? Like I mean, obviously, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the best tip I can give you is don't spend too much time focusing on one thing unless there's a huge issue with like I don't know, a vocal sound or you know. A good tip I could give you, which I wish I knew about back in the day, is don't be afraid to flick those phase switches. What is a phase switch? For those who don't know, most DAWs or mixers or whatever, they have this little thing here, over here. It's a phase switch. It changes polarity or flips the phase. And very often when your bass or kick, and this is like mostly specific in the lower frequencies, not so much higher up, is you get phase issues. So where your kick and the bass hit at the same time, they basically almost cancel each other out, thus giving you that feeling where your kick drum is not really coming through. And then what do? You turn it up. That doesn't solve the problem. It actually makes it worse, especially when mastering and stuff. So try to flick those phase switches. Sometimes, more often than not, you press a phase switch on, say, your kick drum, and it's like, whoa, there it is. So try that, or because you can run into this problem called frequency masking, where certain frequencies are like, you know, overlapping. You can fix that to a certain degree with EQ, sidechain, like popular thing. If you don't want that typical EDM sidechaining where it's like pumping, you can use a plugin like this one, like a multiband e, multiband compressor. Like this one is good. So I can set this to only duck a certain frequency range. So you like you go to expert mode, you click external, you activate the sidechain, and then you set, say, your kick drum to trigger the compressor on your, say, bassline. That way, whenever the kick drum kicks in, a certain frequency range of your bass sound will get ducked, like level lowered a little bit, and that actually works pretty good. And I do that with vocals. Like say you have a fairly dense mix, which a lot of music these days tends to have. Say when the vocal is in, you can have it sidechain duck, like, or your synths or your guitar a little bit just in the centers, just to give you that room for the vocal to come out. I can go into details about this on another stream, like production specific things. Let's see here. All right, but let's get back to when I play you this track. I'll show you what's going on. And this is a production music track. It means its intended purpose is to be licensed, like in TV shows or games or movies or whatever. So the song structure may differ a little bit from like your normal song type of thing. But yeah, as you can see, the meter on Cubase here is freaking out. So let me just make sure I'm not gonna kill everything going on here. It's gonna remove some stuff so it doesn't, kill my CPU as I'm trying to play this. That's another trick. Once you're done with a song, which I should do too, is just render each file like as a separate audio file, just so you have it. Because sometimes, say, a plugin stops working, or you don't have that plugin anymore, or your DAW messed up, or you're changing DAW, at least you'll always have the stems, like all the sounds, as an audio file. Because if it crashes and you only have MIDI and like a setting on a synthesizer, you will not get that back. So when you feel the song is done, just render it out, file by file. That's a good thing. Anyway, I'm gonna dig into this song. I'll show you what's going on. And this song is from my album, The Drop Your Weapon. This track is called Turn Off Your Radio. And yeah, I'll just go through what's going on in.
Turn off your radio. And it goes like
Alright, so yeah, a lot of drums in this, because fuck yeah, drums. It basically created a drum kit from scratch, basically a custom drum kit for this project. Mostly Slate SSD4, is it called? Like the acoustic drums, and like taking samples and live drum sounds and processing them and turning them into samples per se, and then you get this. Got a little bit of loop, just help us along. Don't be afraid to use loops or I wouldn't say presets, but it's, I used to hate like, oh, I've got to make sounds from scratch. All's got to be original. Everything, don't use samples and loops and shit. Don't think that way. Like once I realized how much a dude like Liam Howlett from Prodigy, how much it is samples, how much it is like chopped beats and stuff, and many other artists. Just don't be afraid. Like as long as you put your personality in it, chop it up or distort it or whatever the thing you want to do to it. There's no shame in that, because I know people who are like, oh, everything I do is from scratch, and yeah, well, meanwhile, while you're spending a week making a hi-hat sound, I'll write 2 songs. So I don't know. if you have the luxury to just noodle around, go for it. But I can guarantee you from the bottom of my heart, at the end of the day, whether you use the 808 hi-hat or you spent 5 days making a hi-hat, nobody cares at the end of the day. Seriously. I'm not even joking. Because at the end of the day, yeah, this is a thing you gotta kind of remind yourself as a producer sometimes. Nobody else who's going to hear this song knows exactly what is in it. Nobody's going to see this screen and, oh, there's that hi-hat, there's this bass. Like, a listener or a consumer or a fan or a follower, they will hear the song like on the radio, like, so that little tweak you spent 5 days on might not, like, you just wasted 5 days. If you enjoyed it, by all means, you didn't waste it. But just talking about a bit of like efficiency and, keep the flow going without wasting too much time on doing something that actually doesn't matter in the end. All right, I'm gonna play some more stuff from this song. Just go through what's going on in there. Actually, I'll show you how I came across this hook sound that is coming from a source that I did not foresee. It's a cool little trick. So what I did, and if I did everything correct, it should load up right here. Nope. All right. Okay, so that's the original file that turns into this. Let's see if I can replicate that quickly. I know I was using a vocoder. All right, I'm going to try to replicate that specific. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, the waves vocoder or morphoder or whatever they call it. It's pretty good. It's actually cool to use it like an external instead of just a few preset that you have in here. You can route any signal into it. Just put in a buzz and then go left, right, and then put that on. You can create cool stuff from anything really. Let's see what else is going on here. I'm just gonna play some more files from this song. So as you can see, there's a lot of layers of basically doing the same thing, but it's got its own specific purpose to fill either a certain frequency spectrum, or say you want it wider, so you add a wide one versus a mono one. So I'm just going to play you through all these bass sounds that creates the whole groove on top of the drums. Of course, this is the meat of the song, the ballsy massive. No, that's all Serum, actually. Serum and the Mini Brutes. There are two Mini Brutes, the hardware one, which is the sound, the sub bass of this song, and sort of the meat and balls is that. Also, I'll play that. This EQ here, by the way, it's pretty sick because it's, I don't know, it's got attitude to it. I like it. You should check it out. It's a Trident A range from Softtube. Also part of a bundle from Softtube if you want it cheap like me. Yeah, we'll play more sounds. Here you go. And I'm going to add all of them, then you get the whole impression of what's going on there. So I'll press play. Let's see what else is going on here. Vocals. Okay, there we go. Gotta have some cool vocal samples for tracks like this, right?
like. Yeah. 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 Fight. Yeah. 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 And it goes like. Yeah. 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 Fight. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I keep ranting about Serum. I feel Serum has sort of gotten that stigma that the Axis virus got many years ago, where everybody started using it, and everybody used the same, like, 5 sounds. But like the virus, Serum can do anything. Like, it's crazy how in depth it is. Actually, I've had it for what, a couple years now. I'm like, it's still get blown away by it, because just stuff I hear and new ways of creating sounds, getting new wavetables. So Serum is definitely my go-to for stuff like this. And the beautiful, pretty textures, drones, pads. Although I feel it excels like bass on bass stuff. Chuck D, yeah, what's up? And I believe this guitar riff is from, it says Expand, so it's probably from that synthesizer. I'll just play some more stuff so you can hear more of what's going on. Sorry, you gotta ask the question. What plugin would you recommend for more metal trap? Well, first of all, it depends. Like, are you talking a sound creator, generator, synthesizer, drum machine, or are you talking more like EQ, compression? Like, what do you mean? Industrial samples. Ministry. Talking to the right guy. Got lots of that shit. I could tell you pretty much what kind of drum machines Ministry used back in the day. I'm pretty sure I got those sounds in here. Alright, I'll just close this session off. I'm just gonna see if there's any. Alright, mentors, just hang on a second. I'll just play a couple more things and I'll get back to that Ministry drum type of thing. Hang on. Alright, so yeah, I'll just close this one. Just give me a second. Load a new blank template. Back. Yeah, Ministry is one of those bands that influenced me a lot back in the day. I actually have an album called Melt. Let me find it on Spotify. Let's see. There. Play a track of YouTube. This is stuff I did. You can check it out here. It turns out that album is no longer on Spotify for some reason, unknown to me. So I'll play couple of tracks from that. Had a lot of fun with that, and yeah, that was definitely me tapping into this whole Ministry thing. And it's all done by myself, guitars, vocals. Had some help from Adrian White, drummer. Used to be in Strapping Young Lad, Frontline Assembly, Delirium. Pretty cool guy. And yeah, we had a whole band going, played live once or twice. But yeah, check it out. Here's another one, totally down that whole Ministry type of sound. Gotta set this up better. Definitely need one more screen and put my webcam somewhere else. Just a little inside info. The artwork for this album is done by Richard Kirk, and for those who are fans of Korn, myself included, he did one of their artworks too, album artworks. So I thought it was pretty cool to actually get a guy who did artwork for Korn on my album. His name is Richard Kirk. He does really cool. It's called pointillization, so it's like all dots, super impressive and highly detailed. And yeah, you can check him on Facebook, Richard Kirk, Kirk. Check out his artwork. Really cool dude. Issues, yeah, I think that's the album. You can recognize the style, right? Although the original drawing of this was the white background with, yeah, kind of the same one as Korn. I just wanted it black and with some color to it. All right, I'll play the song. Well, before I play, I'll explain this a bit more. This song is called "The World Is on Fire," which it is. And as much as I don't like to get all political and stuff, but this album was written during a time in my life where I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and I was just, I don't know, I was just pissed off. So it was a good time to write this kind of album. And as you can hear in some of the songs, there's a lot of stuff coming out. So quite a personal album if you start reading into it. But yeah. Players. Any religious people here? If you are, you should probably turn away for a second.
Restaurant toilet had to be designed by somebody who once ran out of
How do we spar against
Ministry or Zombie? Oh man, you're asking the impossible. Both for different reasons. That would actually be a crazy cool collaboration if Rob Zombie, Rob Zombie as White Zombie collaborating with Ministry. That's an album I would want to fucking hear, man. Play one more clip here and get back to the Cubase thing. I should add that this specific song was mixed by Mr. Reese Fulber of Frontline Assembly fame, and he did Fear Factory and all kinds of stuff. Delirium. He mixed a couple of the songs on this album, and this is one of them. Anyway, you get the idea. Any questions? Like anything you want to? So, what kind of DAWs are you guys using? Like, or sitting on? Not literally. Old school. Yeah, I'm not listening to that much metal anymore. Like once in a while, I check out some new band or something, but without sounding all pessimistic, but I feel the golden era is sort of past. But then again, you can ask, well, what's the next thing that's gonna come out? If you have noticed, every once in a while, something comes out of nowhere and going like just punches you across the face. You go, holy shit, what is this? You know, back when Nine Inch Nails came with their first album, the world just like blew up. Like, what is this? And then you have Ministry, and then Rammstein, and so many bands randomly just come out of the woodwork and just paves a new path, so to speak. Yeah, I personally think how people are coming down on Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails because what? Because he's not making your favorite album. It's like, dude, you must never forget. I find like I don't know, like when people like, oh, Nine Inch Nails sellout or Trent Reznor's sellout. Really? Hasn't he done enough to earn your respect? You know what I mean? If you want to listen to the first album, then listen to the first album. Because guess what? If he released the same album over and over and over again, people will hate that too. Like, okay, so he's successful. Like, define success. You're not a sellout because you're successful. I mean, success comes, by accident, in a sense. I mean, not by accident. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the curtains, but because suddenly your band makes it huge, it does not make you a sellout. And I find a lot of people are like sort of stuck in that, stuck in that rut. Like, oh, Nine Inch Nails is popular and he's made soundtracks and blah, blah, won an Oscar. Fucking sellout. No, like he fucking earned it, man. A downward spiral, like I don't know, are we ever going to hear another downward spiral from an artist? What I love about those albums, they're concept albums, and I think maybe one of the reasons we don't hear that kind of stuff anymore because generally people's people attention span has gone to like nothing. This is why singles is the way to go now. Like back in the downward spiral age, it's a concept album. You press play on track one and you just let it go. Same with Fragile. I feel a lot of people don't like that album, but if you listen to it from the beginning, and I think that's why those albums are still so relevant today because it's not just a bunch of tracks. Like, yeah, you can listen to them individually, but you also have the whole, like the whole picture. Like, say you have a painting of trees, mountains, and skies, and lakes, and squirrels, or whatever, and then each song is like one song is trees, another song is the mountains. So if you start picking all that stuff apart, you're losing the whole the whole picture. So yeah, the music industry has definitely changed a lot since back in the downward spiral days. It's like stuff you can't do anymore that was groundbreaking and borderline controversial. Actually, I have a story from a dude who worked with Trent Reznor. Rest in peace. His name is Bill Kennedy. He actually mixed the first Melt show in Edmonton, Canada. It was loud. It was awesome. He told me a story from the Downward Spiral. I believe he did some work on Closer, some of the programming in there. And apparently there was a conversation. What's that first song? Is that Somewhat Damaged or Mr. Self-Destruct? Towards the end of the song, there's like this rising, noisy, like just chaos is coming up out of the mix, and how towards the end it's almost louder than the mix itself. And apparently Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, he told Trent that no, you can't do that. That's crazy. You can't do that. Trent is like, well, I did. And so same thing with Closer, like how he says, fuck you like an animal. It's like, you want that to be a single? It's not going to be played on the radio. You can't do that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't listen too much to people. Like, you can't do this or you can't do that. Well, those people, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Just spending time bitching. Yeah, I mean, is radio even a thing anymore? I don't know. Do people like listen to radio? And that's actually makes me think about like my son. I have a four-year-old kid, and he's like that generation that basically won't know what a CD is, which is like such a trippy thing to think about. I mean, he knows because I showed him. Gotta educate them, but with the technology that isn't no more, or like dial-up phones. Like, if you're on your smartphone, you're like blah 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 blah. Say you have an argument, hanging up on someone is like it's not the same to do that as hanging up a phone. But where was I going with this? Yeah, technology. And then you have people that are so stuck in the past. oh, nobody's buying my CD, or nobody's this and that. Yeah, well, you know what? It's 2018. Like it or not, like, I'm an artist. I was there when MP3 was born, and I was getting royalties from CD sales. It was like we're just about to do pretty good, and then MP3 came, and it's like a drop. It was out of nowhere, gone. And but now, like Spotify and certain other services, like, although you don't get much per stream because, one listen doesn't equal a purchase per se, but you can either fight it or adapt, right? If you don't adapt, you're gonna fall off the flat planet. Seriously, if there's a flat earther on this, just get the fuck out of this thing right now. I can't deal with flat earth. This soccer ball is a triangle, because that's the way I see it. 8 tracks, yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why I do it. That's why I still do it. Like, I started making music in the mid-90s, professionally, like from 2000. I started touring around 2001. And, still here. I mean, there have been a lot of ups and downs, but music is who I am. It's what I do. Like, I don't see myself doing anything else, to be honest. Well, now they think, or I'm pretty sure that was a joke, like, the flat earth is not a flat, it's like a donut. So like a defined middle between flat and round. Get Homer Simpson's, yes, the earth is a donut. I'm gonna eat it. Man, out of coffee. Alright, how many viewers? 8. Orion Pro. Never heard of Orion. Is that like a Mac one, or? Yeah, Pro Tools. I had, when I bought a MIDI controller, I got like a L Lite version of Pro Tools. I figured, well, I should install it so I have access to that in case any project or client I work with have Pro Tools. But yeah, man, I know DAWs are like, once you get used to something, stick with it. Don't just, oh, everybody's using this, I'll better use that. No. You're much better at really getting to know the DAW that you use and get better at that versus flipping completely, spend a lot of time trying to relearn stuff. There's much more power in actually knowing your DAW really well versus knowing 3 sort of well. Because at the end of the day, you just render out a WAV file or AIF file, and any DAW can read that, so it doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, sure, when you're working with people, it's great to have the same DAWs. You can just import, export the session file, but I'm gonna just un momento. Shit. Okay, well, that didn't work out. 1 second. One second, guys. I gotta take a piss, like, really fucking bad. So I'll put on a track. I'll be right back. back, yo. DAW. I believe DAW means digital audio workstation. Slayer. Oops. Look what I found in the fridge. Well, fuck. How to open it like a rock star. Use a lighter. This is where it explodes in my head, right? So I live here first, guys. Off it went. Anyone out there is enjoying a brew? Cheers to you. Any questions? Miller. Drink Miller? Hey. What else can I show you guys? As you know, this is like my first Twitch stream ever, so just kind of getting into the groove of it. Already I have notes about certain things I want to change for the next one and make more specific streams. Say, you could do a stream about drum production, drum mixing, drum sound designs. You can do a specific one for bass, grooves, you know, wild turkey. That's the way we like it. Yeah. Can show you why I like UBI Falcon. Any Falcon users here? Seriously, if you haven't checked Falcon from UBI, you're seriously missing out. It's the most in-depth synth sound design, rumpler, you name it. It's got so much good stuff. I mean, you buy the synthesizer, which comes with its factory presets, which are pretty good. But then you can buy all this other stuff. Well, this is like nothing compared to all the stuff they have. Basic setup on how I put together a track. Sure. Hang on. I'm just going to look for a template. Did I have some? Say something? Let's try that. Yeah, I mean, my plan was, well, first to make sure it all works the way I wanted to. And I was thinking like one time I like starting a track from scratch. Unfortunately, there's a lot of the stuff I work on that I can't like stream live because it's on, you know, hush hush down low things. But there is a lot of stuff I work on that I post. But you know, so you don't want to like work on something that an artist paid you to do and you're just showing everything in the song live. Pretty sure that's not a cool thing to do. So, but yeah, I can do a lot of stuff like that. Just start a track from scratch. I make up templates based on certain things I do. Like this is a template, like kind of a go-to template I made up. It loads up with all my soft synths. So it's good to have a template because then you can quickly just get in there and start creating, right? Yeah. Drums and bass first. Again, project dependent. Like you can't really answer a question like that. I mean, sure, like if you want like danceable type of songs, I'd say it's good to begin with a beat, get the kick drum and snare and some hi-hats, because that puts you instantly in that, frame of where the song is going, and then you play around that. But there are times you have this idea for a melody or a hook, and you start there. But yeah, it's how a song starts depends so much on what kind of song it is, or in my specific case, whether it's a song that I'm releasing as a part of the album, or is it a song for TV? Is it like a trailer cue? There's like so much. Each thing has a different purpose, so what I begin with definitely, depends on that. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the groove. Like, that's why I guess I put a lot of emphasis on drums or percussion, because if you're not feeling it, it doesn't matter if you just wrote the best melody in the world or you just wrote the coolest lyrics ever, but the rest of the song sounds like ass, then it's not going to work. I mean, sure, good vocals and lyrics will help it along, but gotta have those drums, man. They gotta fit. They gotta sit tight. They gotta sit in the mix. Well, how do you do that? Do you ask? Well, there's no set rule. Like it depends on a few factors. A, are you using a live drum or a live drum sound samples like Easy Drummer or BFD or whatever they call it, and Slate, the SSD4. Whether it's MIDI or real drums, like how you mix live drums versus how you mix electronic drums is definitely dramatically different. And sometimes you mix both into one song. Autotune, yeah. See, autotune is like one of those tools that got that stigma because some people, you know, used it in a certain way and it's became a thing. So any human being with a mouth can sing in tune. But I don't mind using it if it's just a little off here and there. Just like use it in a sense that you don't really hear it being used. Just whether it's because you're working with a vocalist that's on the other side of Earth, and he can not gonna, hey, can you fly back here to just record those 2 words? I mean, that's not financially and time wise smart thing to do. So I much rather just quickly fix it. Again, time, deadlines, all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is like a template. So you got synths, drums, guitar, all ready to go. Orchestral stuff, not much going on there. Effects, vocals, and everything. All these folders, like the drums, are going into the drum buzz, which already has stuff loaded up into it. So I know when I start the song, things are routed into where I want them to be without noodling too much around. Although sometimes it's just cool to just start with a complete blank canvas. Again, it so depends. um, well, I'm definitely gonna be streaming fairly frequently, as I want to have consistent streams. I'm gonna sit over the weekend to set up a schedule. Now that I know this kind of works pretty good, I think I'll do like once a week. I'll do a stream where I'm just working on a track, and I'll obviously read your comments and respond to that. Other times, maybe I'll just do like a playlist of stuff that I've done, so you guys can check out my work. And definitely do like production specific streams, like drum production, like just one stream, just everything drums, whether it's loops, acoustic, electronic, how to process, manipulate it, how to EQ, compress, and other things like programming riffs, bass lines, designing bass lines, sounds, effects, or you could do a specific stream about taking a sound that sounds like ass and turning it into something useful. Resampling, which is a big deal, I feel. I feel the art of sampling is kind of fading, even though it's ironic because with the technology today, you can do anything with anything. And just resampling sounds, the whole pitch it down an octave. You can do some cool stuff like that. I can show you how I record my guitars, how I process that. I guess vocal mixing, little tricks. I can do stream about certain hidden secrets, but not really. Well, thanks, mentors. That's good to hear that I'm doing something that stands out a bit. Again, this is the first stream, so doing what I can here. But yeah, project-specific stuff, sound-specific stuff. I can talk about, get into more technical stuff, why I use certain synthesizers, why I do certain things that way. And most definitely have like a Q&A thing. Just, I'll open a blank session and you guys ask me questions. I will answer it and show you how it's done. So I'm working out themes, like in the mix, like opening a complete song, analyze it, go through every part of it, why certain things are there or not. And maybe sometimes just invite a buddy over and we can just sit here and chat, have a couple of beers or whatever. Just talk music or music related ish matters, stuff of that nature. And I appreciate everyone who's been watching. How long have I been streaming for? Does it say? Where does it say? Nowhere. All right. Been a couple of hours now for sure. 2 hours. All right. Yeah, and I'm, it's the first time I'm using Twitch too, so I'm just getting to know where everything is, and I'm sure I can set up like notifications before I stream, and once I've got the schedule figured out, like it gets a bit crazy with a kid around sometimes, but definitely want like steady flow of streams, and I'll let you guys know, and yeah, thanks for watching. I do have to head out myself. I got some other things. There are people waiting for me to mix something. Cannot tell you who it is, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, like, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, suggestions, I'm all ears. And thanks again for watching. This has been cool. And yeah, I gotta go. So peace out. Thanks for watching. Cheers.